Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting. Before we get started and call anything to order, we have Judge Petrish, who is going to swear in. We appointed Bill Chazar to council, and he needs to be sworn in, so we're going to have that prior to the meeting. If you two could step forward, appreciate it.
I'm honored to be here for this occasion.
Thank you, Mayor.
Please repeat after me. I, Bill Chazar,
I, Bill Chazar,
being a duly appointed council member of the municipality of Murraysville,
being a duly appointed councilman of the municipality of Murraysville,
County of Westmoreland,
County of Westmoreland,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and that I will perform
and I will perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
with fidelity,
with fidelity,
and shall subscribe
and shall subscribe
to the Murraysville Code of Ethics.
to the Murraysville Code of Ethics.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge Petrish.
But otherwise, we're all set.
Well, I know we're live, but one thing I want to thank Murraysville Council for giving me this opportunity to work with all of you, and I appreciate it. Give a shout out to my wife. Some of you don't know, but she had surgery today. She couldn't be here tonight. She's healing. She's doing well. Thank you, Pete, my daughter, for being out here with me, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. You can go ahead and take your seat down on the end there. Oh, yeah, he has to sign first.
I saw that.
These for now. We get one to
Thank you, sir.
All right, congratulations again, Bill. Welcome to the Municipality of Murraysville, the Wednesday, May 20th, 2026 regular voting meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's a button underneath your computer here.
All right, if we could get a roll call vote, please.
Mr. McKenna,
Here.
Mr. Olszewski, Mr. Lemak,
Here.
Mr. Corns,
Here.
Mrs. Ling,
Present.
Mr. Chazar,
Present.
Mr. Miller,
Here.
Mayor Dice.
All right, thank you. That moves us on to any unlisted amendments. Mike, anything to add?
None for this evening.
All right, no unlisted amendments. That moves us on to our consent calendar items. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion to approve consent calendar items A through C.
Second.
Thank you, Jamie and Jason. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion passes. That moves us on to comments by Mayor Dice. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, President. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Chazar. Proud
Thank you,
to have
Mayor.
you here.
Appreciate it.
And if we could bring up the slide. Nextly, the Public Works Department is seeking seasonal workers for the upcoming summer season. Applicants must be at least 18 years old and available to work a 40-hour work week and have a current PA driver's license. Pay rate is $15 to $17 an hour. There are no benefits, and applications will be accepted until all positions are filled. Please apply online. Thank you. And I think that concludes our announcements.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Comments by the Chief Administrator. Mike?
Yes, just one update for this evening. Sardis Park, the Public Works Department wrapped up most of the work there, so and we invite the community to go out and check out the new amenities there. The playground is installed. They still have to install one of the swing sets. It's kind of like a porch swing that overlooks the hillside there and the mountainside, so it's a pretty neat area. But the Public Works finalized everything. They put the border around the playground areas. They put some asphalt down for the parking area. There's still some other improvements that they're going to work on, but by and large, that project is finished. So we invite the community to go and see the new play area up at the Sardis Park. So that is all for this meeting.
All right, thank you, Mike. That moves us to community input. All right, nobody is signed up for community input, but for the good of the order, is there anyone that would like to speak? Going once, going twice, so, okay. That moves us on to liaison comments and committee reports. We'll start with Michael.
Medic One has their monthly meeting tomorrow. I'll have a report at the next council meeting.
School board meeting, they met as of May 11th. I was unable to attend the meeting due to a business function, but they reviewed bus stops, the Met's culinary management contract, lunch prices for the upcoming year. They renewed the Carlow University enrollment agreement as well as the La Roche College enrollment agreement, and proposal for the final funded budget for the upcoming year. They are going to meet again June 15th of 2026. Regarding the Parks and Rec Foundation, the disc golf course is well underway. I recently was out running some of the trails and saw Carly on the back of a quad, as they were building the course. So it's very exciting. And again, for anyone that's unaware, this will be in Murraysville Community Park, off Bollinger and Farm Road. Disc golf is a wonderful activity for all ages and abilities. Our course will be a woods course, so you'll play through each hole on a wooded trail, teeing off to baskets of a certain distance, each with a par rating, much like regular golf. So please consider a business sponsorship or donation. So we're very excited to get that underway. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Darren. Jason?
The FTMSA meets tomorrow, so I will have a report next time.
All right, Jamie?
Okay, Planning Commission met on May 12th. There were several items on their agenda. The first was CU 126, which was a new development. The builder would be Redwood, which is an organization that has high-density residential buildings, which are one-level slab-type buildings that are rentals as opposed to homes to purchase. They are ADA handicap accessible, and most units average about 1,279 feet. They were looking for a steep slopes exception or hearing on that, so they'll be back. Second was a public hearing on the code to add specific requirements for data centers, data center accessory uses, solar energy facilities, forest, and apiaries. The apiaries was discussed, and of course that was all taken care of with certain specifications for residential beekeeping, and they tabled it in order to discuss a little bit more in depth some of the things that they want to put into the ordinance concerning data centers and solar farms. There was also a discussion and recommendation for the Regala subdivision, a minor subdivision, which we'll be discussing a little bit later, which they moved on to council with a recommendation to approve. They had a little bit more discussion on the ordinance that I talked about, and then Franklin Regional was here also to discuss their baseball field and their multi-use field that they're going to be putting in. So we'll be seeing that coming shortly.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. And Bill, welcome again. The Parks and Recreation, we did meet last Tuesday. We actually met at MCP. At that meeting, there was discussion. We had the Franklin Regional Mountain Biking Team, who they are going to really partner and help with the Parks and Recreation, specifically at Pleasant Valley Park. They're looking to make that their home course. Right now, the Franklin Regional team does their practices at Boyce Park, so we're hoping they're going to help to update those trails and kind of clean things up and make them the ability for the mountain bikers to ride on it. So I think that'll be a great thing for that park and get a lot of good usage out of it for it. The other thing is the Conservancy was in attendance at that meeting, and they took all of the Parks and Recreation board members to on the walk for the Don Harrison Trail around MCP. So that was nice for everyone to kind of get to see what's happening on those trails. So next meeting will be the second Tuesday of next month. That's it. All right. That moves us on to our workshop items. Under administration, 9A would be a discussion of solid waste, recycling, and collection services RFP. Mike?
Yes, so this is the item to consider putting out an RFP for trash service in the community, trash and recycling. As council is aware, we are closing in on the end of a 5-year agreement with Republic for that service. It ends at the end of September of 26. So we wanted to get this RFP together, get council's feedback, make any decisions as to whether we want to modify the type of service that we're receiving in the community, and then ultimately get that item out for a proposal from the sanitation haulers. So the current draft agreement that was put in the support box for council is essentially a copy of what we did 5 years ago. If council recalls, and for some of you that were not on council at that time, what we did at that time was we put out 2 different sets of, essentially 2 options for the bidders to bid on. One is for unlimited trash collection, and then the other would be moving towards a cart service that we see in some other communities where you put your trash cart out with whatever may fit in that container. That cart would be, of course, paid for either through the contract or by the resident, but built into the overall cost in some fashion. That was what was put out to bid 5 years ago. As we know, council decided at that time to go with the unlimited option. Based on the feedback that we've gotten over the last 5 years of the contract, it sounds like that is the more favorable approach within the community. A lot of the feedback we hear are that people appreciate not being limited on their ability to dispose of trash, not being limited to a certain size cart or things like that. But ultimately, again, just trying to give us options to consider. We did put the package together to kind of mirror what we did 5 years ago and see what the prices of each option would look like. There are 2 other options within the proposal. One is for the sticker program, which is kind of like pay per bag sort of approach. You put the sticker on the bag. Some folks do take advantage of that program. And then the final option is, of course, the senior service with a slight discount for seniors that qualify. As it relates to the residential collection, just kind of taking a step back, that still would include the biweekly recycling that we have now, up to 2 bulk items per month. and then the door-to-door household hazardous waste and e-waste program that is offered. That would, of course, remain the same even under the cart service. You would still have those options as well for bulk items or hazardous and e-waste. But so that's kind of what we're looking at. There's still language in there that includes the quarterly glass recycling events, also service for the public areas of the community, including the parks, municipal building, public works building, et cetera. And also, again, it's important to mention that this is a contract that we do in conjunction with Export. So as you review this RFP, it references the COG, the Council of Governments, and in this case, the COG is both Murraysville and Export, which have been joined together in this contract for quite some time. The contract, as it relates to Export, they indicated that they wanted to explore doing the same level of service that they are receiving now as well. Export is a smaller, more dense community, and so they think they would have some difficulty with the cart service. So they want to keep things status quo on their end as well. If after discussion this evening, any modifications need to be made, we could certainly do that. The goal ideally would be to come back at the next meeting with what we believe is a final product and get this item out to bid. The bidding or the proposal process would take place throughout June, and by the end of June, we would open the proposals and see what we're looking at and be able to potentially consider an award sometime in July ahead of the September expiration. If for any reason that timeline doesn't work out, we still have a little bit of time until the contract would expire. So that's a rundown of the existing RFP that was put before council in the support folder. Also, one other item of note, the only major difference in this document as compared to 5 years ago is administration thought that it would make sense to put options for renewal in the agreement. They would be at the municipality's option, at the COG's option. So we would hold that option depending on what those prices are that are quoted. But it would give us the ability, if the prices seem to fit, to extend the agreement for two periods of 2 years. So this could be a 5-year agreement, and if both Murraysville and Export felt it was valuable or prudent, we could extend it for 2 more years, and then beyond that, even another 2. Again, just giving us options, and the bidders, of course, then, or the proposers, I guess it would be, the option to quote out prices for what that those extensions would be as well. So that's the only difference, just kind of giving us the option to maybe extend things out. If we like the level of service that we're getting and we think that the rates are fair or they're good for the community, then we would be able to hold that option available. So that's kind of what the RFP consists of. Certainly would be happy to answer any questions, try to provide any feedback. And again, the goal being to try to get enough feedback that I could come back to council at the next meeting with a document that may be ready for approving, advertising the RFP.
All right, thank you, Mike. We're going to open that up for council, and I'll start off. I believe I have had feedback from residents in the community. I think it is very much appreciated, the service that we have now as far as the unlimited. So I do believe that's what I'm hearing out there, that the people would like to continue that service. So, but I think what Mike said, everything's kind of what I was expecting. But open it up to anyone else. Any questions from anyone?
Put a lot of time into the RFP. I saw over 40 pages. So 44. Thank you for doing that. Just a question about expectations, I guess, what you expect to come back as far as prices, given the current gas situation and everything going on.
It's a good question, and that is exactly what the discussion was between us and Export when we spoke about this. it just so happens that this comes at the exact wrong time when you're looking at fuel prices. Hopefully, when we receive proposals, they factor in that this is a 5-year or more contract. I don't know what the outlook is on pricing because of that. I do know that the feedback I have gotten from our current hauler as well as others is, as you could imagine, they prefer to go the route of cart service. That was the main piece of feedback that I got from them. Their reasoning is primarily based on their own cost to provide the level of service. Cart service limits the amount of employees, it limits injuries, and in turn, people being off of work or comp cases, things like that. So anything, as you could imagine, anything relating to the cart service kind of streamlines their operation and helps cut the costs. So of course they can provide that at a lower cost. So that is the only feedback that I got that gave a little bit of insight as to pricing, but prices don't vary too much when you look at surrounding municipalities and the rates that folks are paying. It typically doesn't vary much from municipality to municipality. Otherwise, they would put, they would rebid projects and try to get back in line with kind of trends. So these companies usually bid things or propose very closely. But I don't, I know that we're under a pretty good rate structure now. I think the expectation is that will go up. I don't think there's any doubt about that, but it's hard for me to say how much the fuel costs will impact that. I guess that kind of remains to be seen. What I do know is when we put it out, if we don't like the responses, we could always try to tweak things or go back to the drawing board and rebid it, if you will. But I don't have a great answer to that about fuel costs, but we have had internal discussions about the impact of that.
Anyone else? Questions? All right. I think that's everything.
If there is anything from council, over the course of the next couple weeks here, please do let me know any thoughts or anything that comes about. You can contact me. There's still a little bit of refinement to do in the RFP, nothing substantive, but I do want to get some feedback from Republic about the numbers for service and for hauling and some of the tonnages and things like that. But I don't think that will change any substantial parts of the RFP. So again, if there is anything that does come up or anything you think of, please let me know. Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll get this ready for the next council meeting to be considered, and then we can put it out at that time. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Okay, before we move on to action items, Mike, one thing that just came to my mind that wasn't listed here during the liaison comments is with Bill being appointed now, I know he's a member of the Parks and Recreation Committee, so I know that's been a tough thing to make sure we have enough people for those meetings. Are we able to do some advertising to be able to fill that seat as soon as possible? I know we did have interest from one of the mountain biking team coaches that said that they were interested, so I think we probably have to do some type of advertisement maybe. I'm sorry.
Good. Thank you.
It was in regards to Bill being on the Parks and Recreation Committee that we're going to want to fill that seat as soon as possible. So I just wanted to see if we could advertise and start to get that ball rolling.
Yes, we can definitely do that. Now without the Penn Franklin, we're quickly learning that sometimes putting the ads in the Trib don't get the same visibility in the community as we would like. Nonetheless, we can certainly advertise that and any other remaining openings we have, because there are some other boards and commissions. One that comes to mind that we'll talk about tonight is the UCC Appeals Board. So we'll get a tally of all the vacancies, and then we can certainly put that back out there. We'll put it on our website, refresh the post that is existing out there now, and we can post it on social media and other things and try to get word of mouth spreading as well. So for that vacancy or any others, we'll do a new updated notice for applications.
And then a procedural question, does Bill have to resign from that, or is it just an automatic resignation now that he's part of council that he wouldn't serve on that board?
On the spot, I think that as a member of council, you cannot serve on that board.
I think you already sent that email out. so-
Okay, and I may, yeah.
You already
that-
sent that email to them, so it's already, my resignation was already.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Once I was voted
Yeah,
in.
that would serve as that.
Got it.
No, great. All right. Yeah, what, I guess that's one other item, Michael, for the pension board.
Yes.
Should we, do we need to put that on an agenda for the next meeting? Would that be okay?
Well, the pension, there are two items as it relates to the pension board. One is a council liaison. That doesn't have to go on an agenda. That's just an appointment of council from the council president as far as the liaison to that board. Previously, that was Eli. So again, it's not imperative to have that done right away. We do want to get it done. Our pension meeting was just last week. We have them quarterly, so we have a small amount of time. So you can certainly have a discussion amongst council members as to who may be interested. It's not heavily demanding. It is a quarterly meeting, usually at a 9 a.m. time slot on a Thursday, quarterly here at the municipal building. So for the liaison from council, that doesn't have to be advertised. One discussion I did have with the mayor and the other pension advisory board members, there are two that are appointed from the community, Larry Schultz and Mark Miller. They've been on that board for some time. They do a wonderful job for us. A lot of heavy lifting as it relates to analysis of the pension fund and talking with the pension administrator. But what I would say, and part of their feedback as well, is that it probably would be advisable to have an alternate or two from the community appointed to that board that could kind of sit in and be a part of the process in those quarterly meetings, ultimately so that there could be a succession plan or a transition plan for when Larry and Mark do decide that they're done with that board. As I said, they've been serving on that board for a long time. They don't have any immediate interest in resigning or leaving the board, but they both did talk about having a plan in place. So that may be something that, again, as part of the advertisement for openings for boards, Parks Commission, otherwise, that would be a board that if there is somebody in the community interested, or two folks would be even better, anybody that has financial management experience or any sort of money management, things like that, would certainly be an advantage. So if council knows of anybody who want to put feelers out in the community, and again, we can kind of advertise that if you want to advertise those alternate positions, if you will. But that would be something that would make sense to have a little succession plan in place there.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe we can, if you could maybe send an email to council just so we know what, we should probably just advertise for any of those openings that we have on any board, so we could try to fill those as much as we can, so. Okay. Well, that moves us on to our council action items. Can I get a motion for 13A, please?
Motion to adopt ordinance number 1112-26, Code Appeals Board.
Second.
Thank you, Michael and Darren. Mike?
Yes, this one's pretty straightforward. We discussed it at the last couple meetings. This is simply the the ordinance that formalizes the Code Appeals Board for both UCC and IPMC appeals. As you'll see on the next few items in the agenda, there are also several folks that have expressed interest in serving on that board. It is, again, we've talked about this. The board is necessary in order to provide for a mechanism for folks to appeal any sort of enforcement that we may pursue relating to the UCC or the International Property Maintenance Code. So certainly happy to answer any questions, but I do know we've talked about this the last few meetings. I think council's pretty aware of what this item is.
I just want to thank Michael and Wes and Adam for putting this together and getting this to go. Having this appeals board and having the structure in place to allow is going to allow for a much more effective property maintenance and overall enforcement aspect. And I know that that's really important to everybody in council, so I really appreciate you guys getting together, and I think this would be a very strong ordinance.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. All right. Any questions for Michael on this from council? All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion's adopted. That moves us on to 13B, please. Can I get a motion?
Motion to appoint Michael Restano to the Code Appeals Board, said term to expire December 31st, 2030.
Second.
All right, thank you, Jamie and Bill. Michael?
Yes, this, is, along with the other two items, are appointments to the Code Appeals Board. All three of the individuals have expressed interest in serving. All three of the individuals appear to have the necessary training and qualifications as required by the language in the ordinance. Essentially, training and experience relating to matters of building construction. That could be anybody from an architect, engineer, all the way to a contractor, someone within the field. So all three of these individuals seem to meet the criteria. So this is just the first of three that are seeking appointment to the board.
All right. Any questions from council on that? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Restano, for doing that. That moves us on, same thing, but it'll be 13C, please.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Joseph Purdue to the Code Appeals Board, said term to expire December 31st, 2029.
Second.
Thank you, Jason and Jamie. Mike, I don't think any comments need to be made. This is kind of the same for this one and for the next one. So any questions from council on this member? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion passes, and that moves us to the third, which would be 13D.
I make a motion to appoint Stephen Hoy to the Code Appeals Board, said term to expire December 31st, 2028.
Second.
Thank you, Bill and Jamie. And
Mac, if I may add, I apologize, but just in case council is wondering or the applicants, the candidates are wondering, I basically selected the dates. Again, it's a 5-year term with staggered 5-year appointments. And so those dates were selected based on when we received the application, with the individual with the longer term having been the one that sent in a letter first. So if you're wondering how those dates were decided, that was just simply the determining factor, just so the council's aware.
great. Any questions for that? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion passes. So thank you from council to Mike Restano, JB Purdue, and Steve Hoy for putting in an application and serving on that board. That moves us to 14A. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve S126 Regala minor subdivision, a plan to subdivide a 31.8 acre parcel into a 29.8 acre parcel and a 2 acre parcel.
Second.
Thank you, Jamie and Michael. Michael?
Yes, this is a minor subdivision. Again, it's creating basically a 2 acre lot where the existing single-family home will reside. The individual did come forward several years ago and started working on this project, but there were some impediments related to zoning. Ultimately, the individual came back to the zoning hearing board in March of this year and received a variance to allow the existing barn at the property to be located in the front yard where the larger parcel will now be, or as part of that larger parcel. So they did come back for a variance and did receive approval from the ZHB. Planning Commission recommends approval with one item of recommendation, that there be an access and maintenance agreement for the driveway that is accessing the current barn, and that needs to be recorded at the time this lot would sell. So again, that was the recommendation from planning, and that is part of the briefing here as well.
So Michael, would that be a condition of the approval? That we would-
Yeah, I would say that's, yes, that's a condition of the approval, is that there needs to be a recording at the time of sale of Lot 3.
All right, any questions from council on this? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion passes. That moves us to engineering. Can I get a motion for 15A, please?
Motion to authorize advertisement of DPW-8-26, the MS4 Basin Retrofit Project.
Second.
Thank you, Darren and Jamie. Mike?
Yes, this is another project through MS4 that is required. It was included in the 2026 CIP with grant funds in the amount of $181,000. There is a 15% match from the municipality. And that's really all on this item.
All right. Any questions from council on this? Nope. All right. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. That motion passes. Moves us to 15B. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion to authorize advertisement of DPW-9-26, the 2026 microsurfacing project.
Thank you, Jamie and Michael. Michael?
Yes, this is an item that the engineering department worked on. We want to seek bids on a microsurfacing project. Microsurfacing is similar to the chip seal that we've seen throughout the community. However, we have heard it consists of a smaller grade of aggregate used to seal the cracks, restore the asphalt surface, and then extend the overall life of the pavement. This is something that I guess the finished product kind of reveals a surface that's similar to asphalt, so it's good for the neighborhood streets. The engineering department has talked to other municipalities about this type of treatment. It's somewhat newer, especially for us. This is the first time we've done it, but we've gotten a lot of good feedback about the microsurfacing. And the reason that we decided we wanted to see if council would move forward with this is because there was money from the 2026 overlay project. If you recall, that was in the CIP at a budget of $1.5 million, and that project came in well under budget. And so because of that, we found the ability to consider this project. It would be an estimated $200,000 project, allow us to get more roads addressed throughout the community. So this was not something we were expecting going into the year, but it kind of worked itself into the budget and into consideration. So we're asking council to consider authorizing this project to allow us to treat more roads and kind of improve, again, additional roadways within the community.
So Michael, this would be the first incidence of using the microsurfacing in Murraysville?
Yes.
So if this pans out and seems to work and hold up, is this something we're going to look at in the future, and will it cut our costs?
Yes, both. So if it does work, again, there's a lot of good feedback from other municipalities and engineering firms. So if it does work for us, then we'll certainly consider that going forward. We wanted to kind of give this a shot and see if it does meet our needs. We do get feedback about the chip and seal, and typically good feedback, but every once in a while there are some complaints. So we're thinking this may alleviate some of those concerns. And then, yes, there is a belief that this also may be more cost effective as well. So I guess it's also fair to categorize this as maybe a trial run on our end. And certainly if it works out, then we'll consider using this sort of approach going forward.
Michael, can you say, or do you know which neighboring municipalities use this?
I could say, but I don't know offhand.
Okay.
I know that, again, in my discussion with the engineering department, there were at least two, I believe, that neighboring that had very good feedback, but I don't recall who it is, and
Okay.
I apologize for that.
No problem.
Michael, how long will this last? I mean, do they give a certain, like, 2 years lifespan on this?
No, it's more than that, and I don't know, and I do apologize for that. I probably should have had the engineer here to answer some of those questions, the last two questions, but no, it's meant to extend the life of the road. Because they're neighborhood roads and they're not high-volume roads, this can help extend it out multiple years, more than a few years. So it's, it could be anywhere from 3 to 7 years, I think, is the lifespan, but I don't know that for sure. But I can certainly confirm that and get back to you at the next meeting and provide that feedback for the community as well.
Thank you.
Michael, is the intent here to, if this works, to use it primarily to replace the chip seal program, but not, this would not be using to delay true asphalt paving?
That's correct. That's exactly right. This would just be the replacement for the chip seal process. So this is, again, what we're learning or hearing is that it's a better alternative to chip seal. So this would kind of replace that. All of the other overlay projects and asphalt projects would stay in place going forward.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions from council in regards to this? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion passes. That moves us to 15C. Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to award the 2026 Overlay Inspection Services contract to LSSE in the amount of $25,750.
Second.
Thank you, Jason and Darren. Mike?
Yes, this is, again, as it relates to the roads, this is for the overlay project to have engineering inspections done throughout the course of that project. LSSE was the low proposal. 2 RFPs were received, and LSSE was the lower proposal at $25,750. The other proposal from Gibson Thomas was $39,860. And this item was included in the CIP with a budget amount of $35,000, so this is coming in under the anticipated budget amount.
All right, any questions from council? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion passes. Nothing under Public Works and Parks, nothing under old business.
Mac, if I may, I
Yeah.
apologize. As I mentioned to Councilwoman Ling 2 meetings ago, she had asked about the costs for the disc golf. I did say I would come back at a subsequent meeting with an update on those figures. I apologize, it took me an extra meeting to gather the information. But I will be more prudent with coming back with updates. But just so that council is aware, because there was some discussion, Bill, I think, even provided some feedback from the public standpoint. But the municipality contributed $5,500 to the project. The remaining funds were contributed by the foundation, and that was $70,800. So that project was primarily on the back of the foundation, the Parks and Rec Foundation, and the municipality's contribution was really just for the course design, so the scope and design of the course itself. So again, I had mentioned that I would bring that information back at a subsequent meeting. I'm sorry it took me an extra meeting to get you that info.
Thank you for doing that.
That is all. Thank you for old business.
All right. Nothing under new business. I just wanted to say, though, a big thank you to our Public Works Department. The parks look fantastic. Like I said, we had the meeting at MCP, but I've been to some of those parks with my kids, and I know those guys worked really hard in the spring. We had kind of a tough winter and a tough start to the year, so kudos to those guys, and thank you very much. I know the public really appreciates that.
I
So.
guess on that note, can we ask about the tarping on the fields?
Oh,
Was that
yeah.
ever-
Actually, that's a great idea.
As far as feedback on how it's going,
Or how if it progressed?
it did progress. Yeah, they have the tarps. So the FRA worked with the Public Works Department. They purchased, based on the not to exceed amount of $10,000, I think they ultimately were able to purchase, they kept coming back to me with different figures, and ultimately I think it was 3 tarps, possibly 4, but I don't want to misstate that. So I know they were able to at least get 3 tarps and all of the materials necessary to be able to roll those out and put them back. They worked with Public Works to get some of the necessary piping that they kind of roll on. So yes, that project did take place. From what I understand, they are using them. I can, again, get a more thorough update, but I know that they have been using them. They did purchase them, they are installed, and things are seeming to go well. So that is what I do know.
Great news.
Awesome.
Okay. We are going to have a brief executive session. That is correct, right, Mike?
Yes, related to a CBA matter and also the sale of municipal property.
And there's no action coming out of
No
the
action.
executive session. All right, that just leaves us for one more motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, thank you, Jamie and Bill. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that motion passes. The meeting's closed.